The lights dimmed. The crowd held its breath. Then came a voice unlike anything the world had ever heard. It wasn't just music. It was a cultural earthquake. For millions of fans, Elvis Presley wasn't simply a singer. He became the face of rock and roll, a Hollywood star, a global phenomenon, and one of the most recognizable entertainers in history. His influence stretched far beyond the stage, changing music, fashion, television, and popular culture forever. But there's a question very few people ever ask. After Elvis Presley died, what really happened to the enormous fortune he left behind? Who inherited it? How did that fortune grow into an empire worth hundreds of millions of dollars? And what surprising twists transformed his legacy into one of the most valuable celebrity estates in history? Stay with us until the very end, because the final revelation may completely change the way you think about Elvis Presley's legacy. To understand how one of the greatest celebrity fortunes ever created continued growing long after its owner was gone, we first have to go back to where it all began. Elvis Aaron Presley was born on January 8, 1935, in Tupelo, Mississippi. His family lived modestly. His parents, Vernon and Gladys Presley, struggled financially for much of his childhood. Money was always tight, and there were times when simply making ends meet became the family's greatest challenge. Those difficult early years shaped Elvis in ways few people recognized. Even after becoming one of the richest entertainers in the world, he never completely forgot what it felt like to have very little. When Elvis was 13, the family moved to Memphis, Tennessee. It was there that his musical identity began to form. Gospel music echoed through churches. Blues poured out of Beale Street. Country music filled the local airwaves. Elvis absorbed it all. He wasn't trying to imitate anyone. He was creating something entirely new. In 1953, he walked into Sun Studio to record a song as a gift for his mother. Studio owner Sam Phillips quickly realized there was something extraordinary about the shy young truck driver. Within months, everything changed. Songs like "That's All Right" introduced audiences to a fresh sound that blended rhythm and blues with country music in a way America had never experienced before. By 1956, Elvis had exploded into superstardom. Heartbreak Hotel shot to the top of the charts. His appearances on national television created headlines across the country. Some praised him. Others criticized his energetic stage performances. But whether people loved him or hated him, everyone was talking about Elvis Presley. Success arrived with astonishing speed. Millions of records sold almost overnight. Concert halls filled to capacity. Teenagers screamed at every appearance. Merchandise bearing his image became a nationwide sensation. The money followed. Record contracts generated enormous income. Live performances brought in substantial earnings. Television specials paid impressive fees for the era. Hollywood soon came calling. Beginning with Love Me Tender in 1956, Elvis launched a movie career that eventually included more than 30 feature films. While critics sometimes questioned the quality of the later movies, audiences continued buying tickets. Every new film created another stream of income. Movie salaries, music sales, soundtrack albums, publishing royalties, licensing opportunities. The Elvis brand was becoming bigger than almost any entertainer had ever experienced. Throughout the 1960s, even as musical trends changed, Elvis remained commercially successful. His soundtrack albums sold in huge numbers, and his face appeared on products around the world. Then came one of the greatest comebacks in entertainment history. In 1968, the NBC television special, now widely known as the '68 Comeback Special, reminded the world exactly why Elvis had become a legend. Dressed in black leather and performing with remarkable energy, he captivated audiences once again. The special reignited his career. Soon after, Elvis began performing at the International Hotel in Las Vegas. Those engagements became legendary. Night after night, thousands packed the showroom. The demand seemed endless. During the 1970s, touring became another major source of income. Elvis performed hundreds of concerts across the United States, often playing to sold-out arenas. His records continued selling. Fans purchased souvenirs. Television appearances remained valuable. Licensing agreements expanded. By then, Elvis had built multiple streams of revenue that few entertainers of his generation could match. For years, he ranked among the highest-paid performers in the world. Yet behind the glittering success, another story was unfolding. Elvis lived generously. Some would say extravagantly. He loved giving gifts. Friends, employees, and complete strangers sometimes found themselves receiving expensive cars, jewelry, or large sums of money simply because Elvis wanted to make someone smile. His generosity became legendary. So did his spending. He purchased luxurious homes, maintained Graceland, his beloved Memphis estate, collected automobiles, owned private aircraft, supported an extensive staff, traveled frequently, and funded a lifestyle that required enormous resources to maintain. Unlike many modern celebrities, financial management during that era often lacked the sophisticated planning common today. Business arrangements could be complicated. Taxes consumed significant portions of income. Management fees reduced earnings. Large operating expenses continually drained cash. Although Elvis earned extraordinary sums during his career, not every dollar remained in his estate. Another important factor involved his longtime manager, Colonel Tom Parker. Parker undeniably played a major role in transforming Elvis into a worldwide sensation. He negotiated lucrative deals, arranged tours, and helped build one of entertainment's biggest brands. At the same time, historians have long debated many of Parker's business decisions. His commission rates were unusually high. Some agreements favored short-term earnings over long-term opportunities. Perhaps most famously, Elvis rarely toured internationally, despite tremendous global demand. Various explanations have been offered over the years, including issues surrounding Parker's own legal status, though the full story remains a subject of historical discussion. Whatever the reasons, many believe international touring could have generated even greater wealth. As the years passed, Elvis continued working at an exhausting pace. Concert after concert, recording session after recording session, television appearances, public obligations. Meanwhile, maintaining Graceland and supporting those around him required constant spending. To fans, Elvis remained larger than life. Few realized that even someone earning millions could face financial pressure when expenses grew just as quickly. By the mid-1970s, health challenges increasingly affected his schedule. Even so, he continued performing because audiences still wanted to see the king. Every appearance reminded the world of his extraordinary gift. But behind the curtain, concerns were growing. No one could have imagined how suddenly everything would change. On August 16, 1977, the music world stood still. News spread across America with astonishing speed. Elvis Presley was gone. He was only 42 years old. The headlines focused on the loss of an icon. Fans gathered outside Graceland in disbelief. Millions mourned. Yet away from the cameras, another question quietly emerged. What exactly had Elvis left behind? Was the fortune as enormous as everyone believed? Or had years of spending, taxes, and business obligations changed the picture more than anyone realized? The answer would surprise almost everyone, and the decisions made in the months that followed would transform Elvis Presley's name into one of the most successful celebrity brands the world has ever seen. But that remarkable transformation began with a family suddenly facing unimaginable grief, and an estate whose future was anything but certain. The day Elvis Presley died, the world lost a music icon. But for his family, the mourning was accompanied by another reality that few outsiders fully understood. Behind the gates of Graceland stood one of the most famous homes in America. Millions of records had been sold. Dozens of films had earned impressive box office returns. Concerts had generated enormous revenue for years. Many assumed Elvis had left behind an unlimited fortune. The truth was far more complicated. Because of years of heavy spending, operating expenses, taxes, and business obligations, the value of Elvis's estate was considerably lower than many people expected. Historians and financial reports have produced varying estimates, but many place the estate's value at roughly $5 million to $10 million before taxes and expenses, with the net amount available to heirs significantly reduced after obligations were settled. Exact figures remain debated, but there is broad agreement that the estate was far from the vast empire many imagined. The king had earned hundreds of millions of dollars during his lifetime in today's equivalent purchasing power, yet much of that money had already been spent or committed. The challenge facing his family wasn't simply preserving a fortune. It was preserving a legacy. According to Elvis's will, the primary beneficiaries of his estate were his father, Vernon Presley, his paternal grandmother, Minnie Mae Presley, and his only child, Lisa Marie Presley. The will also established a trust to protect Lisa Marie's inheritance until she reached adulthood. At first, Vernon Presley became one of the key figures responsible for overseeing Elvis's affairs. But tragedy struck again. Vernon died in 1979, only 2 years after his son. Soon afterward, Minnie Mae Presley also passed away. Their deaths meant that Lisa Marie Presley ultimately became the principal heir to Elvis's estate. Yet there was one enormous problem. Lisa Marie was still a child. She couldn't personally manage an estate carrying worldwide recognition. Someone else would have to protect it. That responsibility eventually fell to Priscilla Presley. Although Priscilla and Elvis had divorced years before his death, they remained connected through their daughter. More importantly, she understood something many people overlooked. Elvis's name itself had become one of the most valuable assets in entertainment. If managed wisely, it could continue generating income for generations. If handled poorly, it could disappear under mounting expenses. At the time, maintaining Graceland was becoming increasingly expensive. The mansion required constant upkeep. Employees had to be paid. Security costs continued. Taxes remained substantial. Without significant new income, simply keeping Graceland open was becoming difficult. Some advisors reportedly believed selling the property might be the practical solution. Priscilla saw another possibility. Instead of viewing Graceland as an expensive burden, she believed it could become the heart of Elvis's legacy. It was a bold idea. In 1982, Graceland officially opened to the public as a museum and tourist attraction. Many people weren't sure whether visitors would actually come. The answer arrived almost immediately. Fans traveled from across America, then from Europe, then from Asia, then virtually every corner of the globe. They wanted to stand inside the home where Elvis had lived. They wanted to see his famous jungle room. They wanted to walk the halls he had walked. They wanted to visit the meditation garden, where Elvis is buried alongside members of his family. Graceland became much more than a museum. It became a pilgrimage. Each visitor purchased tickets. Many bought souvenirs, books, photographs, records, collectibles. Every year brought new fans. Instead of shrinking, the business surrounding Elvis began expanding. The opening of Graceland proved to be one of the most significant decisions in the history of celebrity estate management. But that was only the beginning. Priscilla and the estate's advisors recognized another tremendous opportunity. Elvis's music never stopped selling. Each new generation discovered classics like Can't Help Falling in Love, Suspicious Minds, Jailhouse Rock, Love Me Tender, and Burning Love. Every radio play generated royalties. Every album purchase created new revenue. Television documentaries introduced Elvis to younger audiences. Films featuring his music brought additional licensing opportunities. Then came the home video era. Compact discs, digital downloads, streaming platforms. Every technological change created another way for Elvis's recordings to reach listeners. Unlike many businesses that depend on a single product, Elvis's estate owned something timeless. His performances, his image, his story, his music. Licensing became another cornerstone of the estate's remarkable growth. Companies sought permission to use Elvis's likeness. His name appeared on officially licensed clothing, collectible ornaments, books, calendars, artwork, home decor, premium memorabilia, special anniversary releases. Each partnership carefully expanded the Elvis brand while protecting its value. Not every request received approval. Maintaining quality became just as important as generating income. That careful balance helped preserve Elvis's reputation while allowing the business to grow steadily. Another major contributor was Elvis Presley Enterprises, the company responsible for managing many aspects of the estate's commercial operations. Over the years, it developed new exhibitions, live events, themed experiences, licensing programs, and collaborations designed to keep Elvis's legacy relevant without losing sight of its historical roots. Annual celebrations around Elvis Week drew thousands of fans to Memphis. Special concerts honored his music. Collectors gathered from around the world. The estate became both a successful business and a living tribute. As the years passed, Financial publications regularly listed Elvis among the world's highest-earning deceased celebrities. Although yearly earnings fluctuated depending on licensing deals, music sales, tourism, and other business activities, Elvis consistently remained near the top of those rankings. Perhaps even more remarkable was the overall value of the estate itself. Financial analysts have offered different estimates over the years, particularly because private companies are not required to disclose every detail publicly. However, by the early 21st century, the Elvis business had grown into an enterprise valued in the hundreds of millions of dollars, with some estimates placing its value well beyond that depending on the assets included and market conditions. It was an astonishing turnaround. An estate that many feared might struggle to cover its expenses had become one of the most successful celebrity brands in history. Business schools even studied the transformation. Entertainment executives pointed to Graceland as a model for preserving a cultural icon while creating a sustainable business. What made the story even more extraordinary was that much of this success came decades after Elvis had recorded his final song. His voice continued earning. His image continued inspiring. His home continued welcoming visitors. His legacy continued expanding. It seemed almost impossible. Yet the greatest emotional chapter of the story was still waiting. Because while the business flourished and the Presley name became associated with one of the world's most valuable entertainment estates, the family's journey would be marked by both remarkable triumphs and heartbreaking loss. The fortune Elvis left behind would continue shaping the lives of future generations in ways no one could have predicted. And the next chapter reveals why his legacy became about far more than money. Money can build homes, can preserve memories, can protect history. But perhaps its greatest purpose is ensuring that a remarkable life is never forgotten. That is exactly what happened with Elvis Presley's estate. What began as a complicated inheritance gradually became one of the most successful examples of legacy management in entertainment history. 4 decades after Elvis's death, his fortune continued supporting the Presley family while introducing new generations to the man who forever changed popular music. When Lisa Marie Presley reached adulthood, she became the sole heir to her father's estate, inheriting ownership of Graceland and the assets held in trust for her. As the years passed, she remained closely connected to her father's legacy, even as she pursued her own career in music. Although she often spoke about the unique challenges of growing up as Elvis Presley's daughter, she also understood the enormous responsibility that came with protecting one of the world's most recognizable names. The Presley story, however, was never free from heartbreak. In January 2023, Lisa Marie Presley passed away at the age of 54. Her death marked another deeply emotional chapter for the family and for millions of Elvis fans around the world. Following her passing, ownership interests connected to the Presley legacy passed to her heirs under her estate planning arrangements. Graceland itself remained a treasured symbol of the Presley family, and the estate's management continued ensuring that Elvis's legacy would endure. Through every generation, one thing has remained remarkably consistent. The music never stopped. Every day, somewhere in the world, someone hears an Elvis Presley song for the very first time. A young guitarist studies his recordings. A family plays his Christmas classics during the holidays. A couple dances to "Can't Help Falling in Love." A movie introduces his voice to a brand new audience. The business continues because the music continues. That is the difference between a passing trend and a cultural legend. Graceland stands as perhaps the greatest symbol of that enduring connection. More than half a century after Elvis purchased the Memphis mansion, it remains one of the most visited private homes in America, welcoming hundreds of thousands of visitors in many years. Fans travel from around the globe not simply to admire a famous house, but to experience a piece of music history. Walking through its rooms tells a story no photograph ever could. The living room where family gathered. The famous jungle room. The trophy displays. The walls lined with gold and platinum records. The airplanes that reflected Elvis's love of travel. And finally, the peaceful meditation garden. It is there that many visitors pause the longest. Because beyond the worldwide fame, beyond the fortune, beyond the sold-out concerts, they remember that Elvis Presley was also a son, a father, and a human being whose life ended far too soon. The emotional power of Graceland cannot be measured in dollars. Yet from a business perspective, it also became one of the smartest decisions ever made by a celebrity estate. Its success demonstrated something that many families and entertainers have since tried to emulate. A legacy isn't protected by locking it away. It survives by allowing people to experience it. That philosophy helped transform Elvis from a legendary performer into a lasting global brand. His music catalog continued generating royalties. Documentaries introduced his story to younger audiences. Books explored his extraordinary career. Special anniversary releases brought classic recordings back to the charts. Television specials celebrated his influence. Films inspired renewed interest in his life and music. Each generation discovered Elvis in its own way. That steady stream of interest is one reason financial publications have continued ranking Elvis among the world's highest-earning deceased celebrities. Annual earnings naturally vary depending on music sales, licensing agreements, tourism, and new commercial projects. But decades after his death, his estate has remained an extraordinary financial success. Very few entertainers can claim that. Even fewer can say their influence has lasted this long. Looking back, there are important lessons hidden inside Elvis's financial story. The first is that earning enormous amounts of money does not automatically guarantee lasting wealth. Despite his incredible success, Elvis's spending habits, generous gifts, operating expenses, and financial obligations reduced the size of the estate he ultimately left behind. The second lesson is equally powerful. Careful stewardship can completely transform an inheritance. Without thoughtful planning, Graceland might have been sold. The Presley name might have gradually faded from public life. Instead, strategic management, licensing, preservation, and respect for Elvis's artistry turned a challenging situation into an enduring enterprise recognized around the world. Perhaps the greatest lesson, though, has nothing to do with money. People didn't continue visiting Graceland because it was expensive. They came because of what Elvis meant to them. His songs carried memories. His performances captured moments in history. His voice became part of people's lives. No financial statement can measure that kind of value. Today, children who never saw Elvis perform still know his music. Artists across every genre continue citing him as an inspiration. Collectors still treasure his recordings. Fans still gather in Memphis each year to celebrate his life. His influence stretches across generations, cultures, and continents. That may be the most remarkable fortune Elvis Presley ever created. Not the buildings, not the royalties, not the merchandise, but a legacy that continues growing because people continue caring. True legends never truly disappear. Elvis Presley's voice changed music forever. His unforgettable performances reshaped popular culture. His estate evolved into one of the most successful celebrity legacies in history, preserving his name while continuing to generate substantial income through music, tourism, licensing, and the enduring affection of fans around the world. Long after the final encore, long after the last curtain fell, the king is still being heard, still being remembered, still inspiring millions. And perhaps that's the greatest inheritance of all.